When you want to get your beer from your kegs into your cans, you normally use a beer gun, as I have done for many years now, or a counter pressure filler. Today I'm going to show you a new product that actually is a kind of a beer gun, but it's one very cool feature with it. It's automatic. Okay, a little disclaimer before we start. I haven't bought this product, it was sent to me free of charge. So just keep that in mind when you watch the video. I'm quite excited to show you this product. I think it's very cool. I love automation, and one of the features is automation. So, but earlier this year I received actually the first edition of the DuoFiller. So I still got that. I haven't used it because short while after I got the new one. So, but I just wanted to show it to you so you can see the difference between those two. So this is the first one, plastic enclosure, but pretty much the rest of it is the same, the buttons and so on. So, but he changed the enclosure to a stainless steel one, and I think that was a smart move because the new one looks amazing. So I don't think we need to see anything else on this before we take a look at the new one. The functionality and so on is exactly the same for both, so it's the exterior that is changed. Okay, with the old one put away, here's the new DuoFiller. As I said, stainless steel. It's very heavy compared to the first edition in plastic. So and the enclosure, all the steel materials and things there are made in Norway, so that's pretty cool. So the guy that makes this assembled them at his place, but he gets all the parts, all the steel parts produced in Norway. When we start in the front, you can see those two fill lines, two pipes each. The first pipe is for the beer. So when you start filling, the beer will come from your keg through the ports on the back and out of the beer pipes. The second pipe is a dual purpose pipe. One, it's used for purging CO2 to get oxygen out of the can before filling the beer. But when it's done filling CO2, it switches over to the second function for it, and that's the measurement for the level inside the can. So it's a three-way valve inside it, so it's automatically switched between those two functions. So you have a small platform here for your cans, and it's very easy to get the can in place and start filling. It's a kind of a groove here to make that easier. Another, when we're talking about these two called the fill lines, they are independent, so you don't have to use them both. Each one is controlled by its separate button, and you can also have different levels or cans when using it. So, well, you need to have two seamers, but you could fill a 500 can on the left side and a 330 on the right side if you want, and you got two seamers. So everything is controlled separately and independent of each other. So I think that's a cool feature. If you remember the first edition, it had that came in two versions, if you can call it that. One with the clear hose, a clear hose before the pipe, and the one I have is a steel pipe all the way. I'm very glad that he changed it, the whole pipe back to the hose again, because when troubleshooting, setting things up with the keg pressure and so on, it's much easier to see foam issues when it's a clear hose here. It's impossible to see that on the all steel one. So I think this is a very good thing that he went back for the clear hoses. You have three ports. The big port in the middle is for CO2. So it's one line from your bottle into the CO2, which feeds both sides of the filler with the CO2. So you get a connector for it. So, and then it's just to hook up your CO2 bottle on that one. The two other ones here are for the beer itself. And the last one is the power supply, the port for the power supply. If we keep on looking behind it, there are these, I think keyhole holes, whatever. You can mount a couple of screws on the wall and just hang it up there, or it got the VESA 100 mount, standard mount, so you can pick up any computer mounting arm. I use a ceiling mount, but a wall mount, a desk mount, whatever, as long as it's got a VESA 100. On the side, each side, there's the button for starting and also stopping and programming the filler. Because you can put it into a manual mode, then you start and stop. But in normal automatic mode, you just start when you want to start the filler. That's it for the filler itself. So I will show you what kind of lines and connectors you get with the filler. I will show you what kind of lines and connectors you get with the package when you buy it. The only thing you have to provide yourself to be able to use it is the keg and the beer, of course, but also a bollock adapter for the beer line. So, when you open the package, I have cut these lines so it's a bit easier to show it. We have the connector for the bollock, a small tube into the filter, and it's recommended to always use the filter because particles from the hops, etc., isn't so good for the valves inside the filler. If you get a particle from a hop inside, it could be that it can't close completely and the filler will leak. Next up, there's a bigger hose before the splitter into two smaller beer lines, and in the end two connectors which are going into the filler itself. One thing that is important with the filter, always keep the outlet, this top part, the highest point. So don't install it like this because then you will have air bubbles, but install it this way. So when you place it on your keg, it's like this. very important. In the package you get 2.5 meter of lines, and that should be okay for a normal carbonated beer on a normal serving pressure around 1 bar. So, and the temperature of the keg or the beer is 4 degrees. If you have any issues with foaming, try to lower the temperature. So, but I will come back to that later in the troubleshooting part of this video. So the next thing is to connect everything to your wall mount or whatever, and hook up the lines, and you can start setting the levels for both CO2 and the level inside the beer can. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to set the amount of CO2 that will be purged into the cans during the filling. You can have this setting from 0 to 10 seconds, and it's recommended to have at least 6 seconds of purging. So the way to do it is to use one of the buttons on the filler to enter that setting, and you just push and hold the button for 6 to 7 seconds, and when you release it, the button turns red. Every time we push this button now, we change the setting by 1 second. So, and it comes with a green light, and we push it until it's blue. When it turns blue, it means that this is 0. So it goes from 0 to 10 and it starts over again, since it isn't a display or something on it. So now it's blue, and to get this to 6 seconds, we have to push the button 6 times. 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, 4, 5. And when you reach 5, you see that it changed from coming back to red every time you pushed it to a green instead. So this means it's 5. So blue is 0 and green is 5. So 5, and we wanted 6 seconds, we have to push it once more. There we go. Now it's 6 second purge time. To store it, press and hold the button for 6 to 7 seconds. And the lights goes out. So that's it. We have set the purge time for the CO2. I have, before doing this, just flushed the lines to get all the water inside the lines out, and get the beer up to the filler. We need to set the level. To enter program manual mode, just push and hold the button for 2 to 3 seconds. It turns blue. Then you can just press once and it will start purging, and then it will start filling the beer. So when you reach to the level you want, you just push the button one more time and it turns green. Then you just push and hold for 2 to 3 seconds again, and it stops glowing, the button, and the value for that level is stored in the hard memory. If we now try to do the same thing once more, it will fill the same amount, the same level as we stored earlier. So we just try that before we do a couple of cans. As you can see, it's the same level that we stored earlier. First, we need to set the level again for the actual can. Push and hold the button for 2 to 3 seconds. Turns blue. Start filling. And now we will fill until the foam is over the top of the can. Then we store it, because we want to cap on foam. And we just, when we reach the volume you want, just push the button. There we go. And the lid off. As you can see, you push it out of the box. So, the next one, just push the button. Stopped at the same amount that we stored earlier. So again, just cap on foam. When you have filled your cans, you can just place them in your seamer. One. And of course, you can do this at the same time when filling the next one. So this is also the way that I wanted to set up this workstation. So I can fill one can while seaming the first one and preparing the next for the second filler. The next thing, after you have been using the filler, you have to give it a good rinse to get rid of all the beer inside the lines and inside the filler. I use one of these compression bottles, and with a mounted John Guest here, I can just hook it up to the fill line in the for the filler, and just push warm water through it. So 50 to 60 degrees Celsius maximum for the water. You can use PBV once in a while. I'm not using PBV all the time. The most important thing is to use warm water, but give it a good rinse and drain it afterwards. Next thing, after rinsing all the lines, you have to get all the liquid out of the lines for the next time I'm going to use it. The easiest way to do that is to hook up some CO2 on the line. You could you won't be able to push the beer connector all the way down to the CO2 port on your keg, but you can push it a little bit down, I think, so you can get some CO2 into the lines, because then you can just start a normal, as you should do when you fill the can. You just push the button so everything is opening, and when you do that you just push all the liquid through the lines using CO2. I just connect a soda stream bottle on this end and just use that bottle to push everything out of it. So a little tip there to get all the liquid out of the lines after the rinse. Troubleshooting. Foaming, I guess it's the main problem that you may end up with. I had issues with that in the beginning because of my setup with the Kieser, and also some of the beer I tested on was very highly carbonated. But you can do things to solve those problems, like the first thing is to lower your temperature in your beer. It's one very important thing there. Disconnect the CO2 from your keg when you're doing it, because if you don't, you will carbonate the beer even more. So if you lower it down against the 0 Celsius, it's from 4 if your Kieser is set at 4. It's very important, as I said, to disconnect the CO2 so you don't get more carbonated beer than you started, and the problem will still be there. The other thing you can come across is if you're going to fill directly from one of your taps in your Kieser, you have to balance the total length of the lines. So, and you also may need to pump up the pressure on your keg to compensate the length. So the easiest thing is to just hook it up directly to the keg itself with the provided lines and connectors. That's it. I have provided the link to the web shop where you can buy this filler in the description below. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe to my channel to see more content like this. I will provide more videos very soon. Also follow me on Instagram and or Facebook. Until next time, bye and cheers.